Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Like I promised to you guys, here I am to make an update on my charts for my Microsoft predictions, my Microsoft stocks chart, and I have a few things to say about this chart, but first, as always, I have to clarify that none of this is financial information or advice or of any kind. And these are just my shorts, and you should take them like that, as such. And now, okay, so having said that, I've been very busy this week. This week has been very busy to me. So it's only right now that I am making the video. It's coming out on Sunday, and the last day of the week. So okay, let's do some recap on what happened with Microsoft. Like I said at the beginning, this is going to be a very interesting chart, interesting development so far. Okay, so I will link to you guys my video about the NVIDIA predictions, because the NVIDIA predictions are very closely tied to everything in the market, and also because I predicted that April 15 will be a very significant day for the markets, for NVIDIA, and especially for NVIDIA, but also for the markets. So this is what happens right now. Okay, so we began this prediction on April 5, which I predicted volatility or range, and the volatility came, but then stayed in range. So April 5 was correct. Now, next I predicted a dip by April 8. Like I said in my previous video, it was a very, very slight dip. I mean, it's not as pronounced. It kind of looks like a range, more like, but it was nonetheless a red day in the sense. Now, for April 9, I was predicting a slight uptrend, and that's also what happened, a very, very slight uptrend. Again, you could say that April 8 and 9 were behaving more like a range, like a yellow circles, right? So the same thing goes for April 10 or 11. This time happened on April 10. Again, a range on April 10. And then I predicted a recovery by April 11. Or 12. This happened on April 11, as you can see right here. Now this recovery is very clear, unlike the other circles. Okay, but then what happens? Remember that I predicted that April 13 and April 14 and 15 could be very red days, because we're talking about several days in a row of basically losses, or basically pure pain, red days basically. So let's see what happens on April 12. Okay, so I'm in April 13. Okay, so April 12 behaved more like a range, and this is April 15. So as you know, the market doesn't open on April 13 or 14. So they open on April 15, and this is what happens right here. A very significant dip. Like I said, that will happen on the markets on April 15, a very significant dip. So this is the start of the downtrend, because what happens after that gets more interesting. Okay, so I said that there will be a recovery by April 16 or 17, right? I mean, in fact, this really says that there will be a recovery on April 16 and 17. So I was counting on these 2 days to be a recovery. So let's see what happens. So April 16 begins right here. It begins right here. And as you can see, it ends around here. So it was a recovery. It was indeed a recovery, but not really significant as the previous dip on April 15. But then what happens? On April 17, instead of recovering like I was expecting, the dip went down even further. Okay, So you could say this was wrong. At least half of this circle was wrong because April 16 did indeed apply, but April 17 didn't. But in hindsight, remember that I told you that collapses don't happen just overnight. It's not like a collapse is going to happen on one day and the next day is going to be back to normal, right? Collapses really take some time to develop. Crises, crashes, all of that, they take some time to develop and to really start making the trend. So you could really say that I was predicting all of this, because when I said that the April 15 will be collapsing, that it will be a very significant day for the markets. That doesn't mean that there could be opportunities of recovery like it happened right here on April 16, but these opportunities could be very limited and very small, as you can see right here. It's a very small recovery. So for April 18 and 11, I also predicted a recovery, a strong recovery. But again, let's take into the consideration that my big prediction was April 15. I was predicting this months ago, and I said it will be the start, the peak, the beginning of a new crisis, of a very downtrend, clear downtrend for the markets. And I said this for Nvidia, but as you all know, when something happens to Nvidia, it happens to the entire market, because Nvidia is one of the Magnificent Seven. It is one of the most important, if not the most important stock right now. So if something happens to them, it tends to drag down the entire market with them. And that's exactly what we're seeing. I mean, just for comparison, I'm going to show you briefly the Nvidia chart. And it looks kind of identical in the sense that it has been non-stop trending down. In fact, I'm going to show it right now. So yeah, as you can see, it dips even harder. I mean, that's exactly what I predicted. Dip on April 16. Remember, the dip started here, April 15. I thought this was be a volatile range, and then and then I said that the next day after April 15 will be very red, and that's exactly what happened. Look at this. So it's very similar. Like I said, something happens to Nvidia, it takes the entire market down with them, and it's cause and effect basically. I mean, this is like domino, like you have domino pieces and they start falling on each other. I mean, once you start the chain reaction, there's no way to stop it. So that's what's happening to both of these stocks, to Nvidia and Microsoft. That's why they look so similar. And in fact, most of their other stocks, especially those in tech, also look very similar, because this is a trend that I was predicting like a month ago. So you could say, I mean, if you are very strict, you could say that I was half wrong here and wrong in this entire circle, 18 and 19. But again, the prediction, I predicted the big trend was going to start on April 15, and that's exactly what happened. After April 15, it's been nothing but low, 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 and even lower lows. And even though I was expecting a recovery on these days, and it basically kind of shows in this kind of very, I mean, these are kind of significant recoveries, but the dip is so strong that it keeps driving the market down and down and down. So right now it seems to have consolidated, and like I was predicting, April 19 and 20 will also be continuing to be red days. So that's exactly what happened right here. April 19, and since April 20 doesn't count on the market, we're expecting to see probably more dips by April 21 and all the way to 23. And then we will finally see resistance, support building up, and then we're going to see the market uptrend again To what price? I am not really specific in this prediction. I don't really focus on my price right now, but I am only predicting trends, the trends of the day. And this trend, April 15, was very important, was very big. I made an entire video about this date alone and why it will be so important and why it will happen like a week after the eclipse and the significance of the eclipse. I made a lot of the videos about this, made a lot of tweets or posts. I did a lot of warning about this day, and it's panning out exactly as I predicted. The only difference between the NVIDIA chart, which is 100% correct in the sense that every circle, absolutely every circle is correct. In this case, Microsoft, so far we have our first so-called errors in this, a half error and a full error in this green circle right here. But that doesn't mean the prediction is wrong. I mean, I'm not afraid of showing you this, guys, because this is my job, basically. I mean, I do this because I like to do this. I love to do this. And I can just show you all the greens and the reds. I mean, I have to show you the entire structure, even if the structure doesn't always coincide with the days I am selecting as green or red, depending the case or the circumstance of what I'm doing there. But as you can see, the prediction stands 100% correct. The general trend is correct, extremely accurate. The only details that are missing in that sense is that these days were not really a recovery, did not solidify into the recovery I was expecting. This trend, 11:15, was so strong that it will take the entire market down with them, exactly as I predicted, and it will also prolong for quite a lot of days. I mean, look at this. This is more than 5 days of prolonging downtrends. So I should also, in hindsight, should have seen this and should have told you guys that these days will be very small recoveries. I wasn't expecting such a lengthy downtrend. But anyways, guys, here we are. Again, my predictions are correct again. Extremely accurate and extremely powerful too, because this day right here, April 15, was exactly the day I said this all will happen. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good one. I hope you have something to say about this. I want to hear your opinions. I want to see the likes on the video. Subscribe if you like this, and I'll catch you next time with more predictions. This time, next week, I will be updating on NVIDIA like I promised. Okay guys, see you all.